Hi, good morning all. Myself Gopal Krishna, Assistant Professor of Economics, SRR Government Degree College, Karimnagar. In the present situation of COVID-19, we are unable to reach the students to teach the subjects. So, hence we are going to use some technology which is available for us to teach the students. Okay, and from today onwards we are going to discuss some topics in Indian economy. Okay, Indian economy. Okay, today we are going to discuss about characteristics of the Indian economy. What is our today's topic? The characteristics of the Indian economy. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the different characteristics of the Indian economy. All of you know that the India is a developing economy. So every developing economy is different from the developed countries. What are the developed countries in the world? USA, UK, Japan, these are the developed countries. So India is still a developing country. So India have special features which are different from these developed economies. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the 10 important characteristics of the Indian economy. Okay, in those, the first one is low per capita income. The second one is predominance of the primary sector. The third one is characteristics of the population. Okay, what is the third one? Characteristics of the population. Then fourth one is low capital formation. The fifth one is low technological development. Sixth one is poverty, how the poverty is in India. We are going to discuss about it. The seventh one is nature of the unemployment. The eighth one is inequalities in assets and incomes, and also we will discuss about the regional imbalances. Okay, the ninth one is low standards of the life. The last 10th one is nature of the international trade, how the trade is going on in India. We will discuss about these 10 points. Okay, what is the first one? Low per capita income. Okay, low per capita income. Generally, every developing economy is getting low per capita income. I think you know the per capita income. The income which is earned by a single person is called as per capita income. So if you think about the India per capita income in 2008, it is $1,070. Okay, and it is in 2019 2010 dollars. Okay, just it is increased double in the 10 years of the gap. Okay, if you think one developed economy, that is USA. What is the USA per capita income in 2018? It is $47,580. It is in 2008 is $47,508, and it is in 2018 it is $65,000. Okay, if we are thinking the per capita income in dollar terms, the India's per capita income is only $2,000 nearly, when the per capita income of the USA is $65,000. Okay, so that means the USA per capita income is more than 30 times of the India's per capita income. So this is the important character of the Indian economy, that the per capita income of the India is very low when we compare with developed countries. Other developed countries like Japan, USA, UK, Germany, France, these are also having high per capita income. So per capita income is very low in India. Okay, and if you think about the second characteristics of the Indian economy, that is predominance of the primary sector. I think you know the what is primary sector. Primary sector, the sector which depends on the nature. Okay, so now what are the important subsectors of the primary sector? One is agriculture sector, two is fishery, third one is forestry, fourth one is mining. Okay, so in the primary sector, the agriculture sector is very important thing. So if you think the importance of the agriculture sector in India, we can say agriculture is very important sector in India in two terms. One is 52% of the labor force is depending on agriculture sector in India. If you take 2011 census, the total labor force, the out of 100 people, 52 people are working or engaged in agriculture sector. Okay, whereas if you think about the USA, only 1% of the labor force is in agriculture sector. Okay, out of the 100 people, only one person is doing agriculture in USA, and it is 4% in France. It is less than 4% in Germany and also United Kingdom. Okay, so that means the less labor are depending on agriculture sector in developed countries. But whereas in developing economies, the major portion of the labor force is depending on agriculture sector or primary sector. Okay, so that is why we are calling that the agriculture sector or the primary sector is very important sector or important thing in Indian economy. Okay, and we can say agriculture is very important sector in India in another term also, that is the share of the agriculture sector in GDP. Okay, what is the share of agriculture in GDP in India? It is around 15%. Okay, the 15% of the GDP is coming from the agriculture sector in India. Okay, whereas if you think about the USA, this is a developed economy, only 1% of the GDP is coming from the agriculture sector. Okay, so if you compare the India with USA, so if you compare the India and USA, India is getting more income from the agriculture sector than the USA. Okay, I think you got it the point. Okay, so agriculture sector or the primary sector is very important in developing economies. Okay, and also it is very important sector in India also. Okay, so this is the second important character of the Indian economy. Okay, what is the another one? The population. Okay, the population characteristics of the population is differ in developed economies if you compare with developing economies. Okay, India, we know that India is a developing economy, so India is a special characteristics of the population. Okay, in general, the India's population is very large in the world. Okay, after the China, the India is in the second position in total population. Okay, what is the total population of the India as per 2011 census? That is 123 crores. Okay, so every year in India nearly around 2 crores are increasing the population of India. Okay, so what is the share of India's population in total world population? That is 17%. Okay, in 2001 it is 16%. In 2011 it is increased to 17%. Okay, India is the second largest populated country in the world. Okay, the China is the first most populated country in the world. Okay, and if you think the density of the population, in general, the density of the population is very high in developing economies. Okay, like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Brazil, these are all developing economies. These all are having high density of the population. Okay, what is the density of the population of India in 2011? This is 382 per square kilometer. Okay, if you think about USA, it is around 45 people are living in 1 square kilometer. Okay, so the density of the population of India is very high when we compare with the USA. Okay, the population density is increasing every year in India because the population is increasing, but the land which we have is constant. So automatically the density of the population is also increasing. Okay. Then what is the another character of the population of India? High growth rate of the population. High growth rate of the population. Okay. As per 2011 census, it is 1.76 percentage per year. Okay. And it is decreasing every year, but if we compare with developed economies, even though now also India's population growth rate is very high, the population growth rate is minimal or near to zero in all developed countries. Okay, in some countries of the developed economies like Russia, okay, the population is decreasing every year. In Germany also the population is decreasing, but whereas in developing economies and also same in India, the population is increasing every year. Okay, if you observe the 2011 census, every year nearly 1 crore 80 lakhs population is increasing in India. Okay, this is a high growth rate of the population in India, and India is getting problems with increase of the population. The people are not able to getting the scheme, the welfare schemes of the government because of the increase in the population. Okay, this is the main obstacle for our economic development. Okay, and why the population growth is very high in our India? The death rate is very low and birth rate is very high. In India, every decade the death rate is decreasing, but the birth rate is not decreasing as much of death rates. Okay, that is why there is a gap between death rates and birth rates. Okay, so when the birth rate is higher than the death rate, the population automatically will increase. In India, the population increasing in the second stage. Yeah, I think you know the population theories. As per the population theory, the India is in second stage of the population demographic theory. Okay, so in the second stage, population every year will grow up. Okay, we can say this as population explosion. Population explosion. Every year the population of India is increasing. So what are the important character of the population in India? Population is very high, density of the population is high, population growth rate is also high. Okay, what is the another character of the Indian economy is low capital formation. Up to 1980, the capital formation rate is very low in India. Okay, this is less than 15% in before the 1980s. After the 1980s, it is increased to nearly 32%. So India is exempted from the low capital formation assumption. Okay, what is that? India is exempted from the low capital formation assumption. Okay, now the India's capital formation is above 30%. So we are satisfied with this capital formation rate. Okay, but in general, the developing economies are always having the low capital formation rate. Okay, and what is the another character of the Indian economy is low technological development. I think this is very important thing in India. Okay, The technological development is very low in India in all sectors. If you think about agriculture sector or industrial sector or service sector, whatever it may be the sector, the technological development is very low when we compare with other developed economies. Okay, if you think about agriculture sectors, even the total farmers are not using hybrid seeds or mechanization like tractors, tillers. Okay, all farmers are not able to use these modern techniques in agriculture sector. Even though in some areas of the northeast area or desert areas of the India, the agriculture sector is still it is in a backward mode. Okay, and also if you think about the industrial sector, the productivity of the industries is very low in India if you compare with Europe or America or Japan or Australia. Okay, so industrial sector is having low level of technological development. This is the important obstacle for the industrial growth in India. Okay, and also in the service sector, if you think about transport sector, health sector, education sector, and whatever it may be the sector, the technological development or the usage of the modern technology is very low in these sectors. Okay, so what is the conclusion in this one? India is facing technological backwardness. Okay, the poverty. I think all of you know the meaning of poverty: the lack of food, lack of shelter, lack of clothing. Okay, this is important. The people are not able to get minimum needs to survive. Okay, if the people who are not able to get minimum needs, then we can say that these people are in poverty. Okay, and all of you know that the poverty is divided into two categories. One is absolute poverty, another one is relative poverty. Okay, generally in India we think always about absolute poverty, that means the lack of food, shelter, clothing. Okay, so government is also giving emphasis to reduce the absolute poverty in our India. Okay, so the number of persons like Dandekar and economists are estimated some poverty issues in India, and as per their estimations, the poverty is very high in India, and we can think that poverty is very high in India in two terms. One is the people who are living in poverty are high, and the people who are living in poverty are also increasing. Okay, the poor people are high and the percentage of the poverty is increasing every year. Okay, up to 1980s, 1975, 1980s, the poverty is increased in India. After that, with the implementation of the welfare schemes, the poverty is reducing gradually. Okay, now even though our Central Statistical Organization estimations are saying that even though now also the poverty is very high in India, and UNDP, United Nations Development Program, is also saying that the poverty is very high in South Asia. South Asia nothing but the major portion is India. So still in India we are facing the problem of poverty. Okay, and what is the another one in our Indian characteristics of the Indian economy? Nature of the unemployment. Okay, what is unemployment? If a person is able to do some work for the income, even though he is not getting an employment or even though he is not getting work to do, then that person is called unemployed. Okay, that character is called as unemployment. Okay, the unemployment is divided into different categories, but if you think about India, the important four types of the unemployments are there in India. Okay, what are those? One is disguised unemployment, second one is seasonal unemployment, third one is underemployment, the fourth one is open unemployment. Okay, now let us discuss about these four in India. Okay, what is disguised unemployment? A person is working, but the production or productivity of that person is zero or near to zero, then that person is called disguised unemployee. Okay, the person, maybe that person don't know whether I am doing work or not, whether I am producing or not, but he is working and he is getting income. Okay, but even though there is no use of his work in our production sector. Okay, if you delete or if you remove that person from the production process, there is no decrease in production. That means the production of that person is zero or near to zero. Okay, this type of the unemployment is called as disguised unemployment. Generally, the disguised unemployment occurs in rural economy or rural sector, and especially in agriculture sector. The persons of the total family are doing farming activities, but even though they are not getting more income or they are not getting more production. So, what is the reason for disguised unemployment in India? There is a no choice to go other works, or there is a no choice to shift from agriculture sector to other sectors. So that is why the person is forcibly doing the agriculture. So India is suffering with disguised unemployment lot. Okay, what is the second type of unemployment? Seasonal unemployment. What is seasonal unemployment? And the persons are getting employment, are getting job, are getting work for some a few months, and they are not getting job for other remaining time. This is called as seasonal unemployment. Okay, that a person is getting employment for few months and not getting work for other remaining time. Okay, this is also occurred in majorly in agriculture sector or in rural sector. Okay, so disguised unemployment and seasonal unemployment are the important type of the unemployments in rural economy or agriculture sector. Okay, the what is another one? Underemployment. Okay, if a person is able to do high level of work but he is not getting that work, so forcibly he is doing the work at low level. This is called as underemployment. Okay, for example, a person completed his PG or higher graduation, post graduation, but he is doing work with the ability of SSC or the low level of education. Okay, this is called underemployment. Okay, open unemployment. This is opposite to disguised unemployment. This is opposite to disguised unemployment. We can say this person is unemployed when we are seeing that person. Okay, openly he is not doing any work because he is not getting any work, he is not getting income from any source. So that is why this is called as open unemployment. Generally, open unemployment is occurred in urban areas of the India. Especially it is occurred in educated people. Some persons completed their degrees and postgraduate courses even though they are not getting job or even though they are not getting income. So these persons are called as open unemployment. Okay, These are the four important categories of the unemployment are occurred in India. Okay, what is the another character of Indian economy? Inequalities. Okay, you know the inequality, that means not equal. In India, there are three types of inequalities are there are. One is income inequality, second one is assets inequalities, third one is regional imbalances or regional inequalities. Okay. What is income and assets inequalities? Some persons are getting high income, but other persons are getting low incomes. This is called as income inequalities. Okay, what is assets inequalities? Some persons are having high value of the high volume of the assets, but other persons are not having assets. Okay, now if you think about rural India, some persons nearly 23.7 percentage of the rural people's assets value is below 50,000 rupees. Okay, so what it is indicating, the majority of the rural people are not having the assets. Okay, at the same time, regional imbalances. What is regional imbalances? In India, some regions are developed very well, but some regions are not developed very well. Okay, if you think about Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, these are developed very well. But if you think about some states like Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, these are very backward when you compare with Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu states. Okay, and we are saying that these underdeveloped or backward states are also called as Bimaru states. What is Bimaru states? Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Orissa. These are all called as simply as Bimaru states. Okay, so the income or assets or regional inequalities are very high in India. So this is important character of Indian economy. Okay, what is the next character of the Indian economy? Low level of living standards. Okay, the persons in India are living with low level of standards. Okay, the majority of the Indians are not getting health facilities, or majority of the Indians are not available to get education. So this is why we are saying that India is at low level of living standards. Okay, if you think about literacy rate, India is still, if you think about 2011 census, as per 2011 census, what is our literacy rate? This is around 75 percentage. Okay, that means the 25 percentage of the Indians are illiterates. If you think about in number, nearly 30 to 35,000 crore people are not able to even to write their name. Okay, so that means the India is having low literacy. Okay, if you think about USA, Japan, or other Europe countries, Germany, France, England, these are 100%, these are having 100% of the literacy rate. Okay, that means all persons are able to get education facilities. Okay, but whereas in India the people are not able to get these facilities. So that is why that is why our living standards are very low. Okay, and also you think about health facilities. Okay, health, we are not much having health facilities. Okay, how can you determine that India is having low level of health facilities. Okay, how can you understand that? If you think about some parameters, okay, mortality rates, mother mortality rate, infant mortality rate, that means MMR, mother mortality rate, IMR, infant mortality rate. Another indicator is also there, that is life expectancy. India's life expectancy is very low when you compare with Japan. Okay, by observing these parameters, we can understand that India is not getting full level of health facilities. So the majority of the people are not able to get good health facilities. Okay, what is the another one? Nutrition deficiencies. Majority of the Indians are all are taking their diet, but that diet is not full with nutritions. Okay, so by these deficiencies in nutrition, they are suffering with different types of ill health problems. Okay, so by observing these things, we can understand that India's living standards are very low when you compare with developed countries like USA, other countries. Okay, and what is the last character? The nature of the international trade. Okay, international trade, how it is there, how it is differ from USA or Japan. Okay, and you all of you know that international trade is divided into two categories, two types. One is exports, another one is imports. What is exports? We are if we are selling goods and services to other countries, this is called as exports. If we are buying goods and services from other countries, this is called as imports. Okay, if you think about our exports and imports, our exports value is very low, but our imports value is very high. Okay, that means this is a very common character of the developed economies. All developing economies are facing this problem. Okay, if you think about the exports, for example, we are exporting cotton. Okay, so the value of the cotton is very low, and our imports value is very high. For example, we are importing the ready-made garments. Okay, the prices of the ready-made garments are very high. Okay, we are exporting cotton at low price, but we are importing ready-made garments at high rates, high prices. Okay, so that means we are getting less income, but we are paying more money. Okay, this is the gap, this is the difference between exports and imports. This gap is called as trade deficit. We can illustrate another example in this category. For example, we are exporting iron ore. Okay, the price of the iron ore is very low, but we are importing the ready-made, exporting cotton. Okay, so the value of the cotton is very low, and our imports value is very high. For example, we are importing the ready-made garments. Okay, the prices of the ready-made garments are very high. Okay, we are exporting cotton at low price, but we are importing ready-made garments at high rates, high prices. Okay, so that means we are getting less income, but we are exporting cotton. Okay, so the value of the cotton is very low, and our imports value is very high. For example, we are importing the ready-made garments. Okay, the prices of the ready-made garments are very high. Okay, we are exporting cotton at low price, but we are importing ready-made garments at high rates, high prices. Okay, so that means we are getting less income, but we are paying more money. Okay, this is the gap, this is the difference between exports and imports. This gap is called as trade deficit. We can illustrate another example in this category. For example, we are exporting iron ore. Okay, the price of the iron ore is very low, and but we are importing the ready made machines and machine tools which are manufactured with the iron. Okay, but so what is that? We are exporting iron ore, but we are importing completed machines. Okay, so by this we are getting low income from by the exporting, but we are getting but we are paying high price or high amount to the imports. Okay, this difference is called as trade deficit. In India or in all developing economies, the exports value is less and imports value is more, and this deficit is continuously going on. If you think about India, from since independence, the India's trade deficit is very high, and also every year it is increasing. So this is the negative point or negative aspect to Indian economy. Okay, I think you understand all the characteristics of the Indian economy. Okay, so we now summarize those characteristics. Okay, what are the characteristics of the Indian economy? This is very long answer question, you should observe. Okay, what are the characteristics of the Indian economy? One is low per capita income. Second one is predominance of the agriculture sector or primary sector. The characteristics of the population. Okay, low capital formation, low technological development, poverty or absolute poverty. Another character is nature of the unemployment. Okay, next character is income and assets inequalities. Okay, and another one is low level of living standards, and the last one is nature of the international trade. Okay, right, thank you.